After the filming of It Ends With Us wrapped in the second half of 2024, Blake Lively began raising concerns about Justin Baldoni's behavior on set. According to her, situations arose during production in which Baldoni, who was both the director and her co-star, allegedly crossed professional boundaries and created an inappropriate atmosphere. Lively stated that a significant portion of the incidents involved behavior of a sexual harassment nature, comments, remarks about her body, unwanted closeness, and pressure to perform scenes that made her uncomfortable. These claims took on a legal form when she officially filed a complaint with the California Civil Rights Department, the institution responsible for protecting employees from discrimination and harassment. This step meant that Lively not only spoke out publicly, but also initiated a formal case. Shortly after, she filed a federal lawsuit in New York, laying out her accusations against Baldoni, his studio Wayfarer, and associated public relations partners in greater detail. In this lawsuit, she also pointed to additional issues, not only harassment, but also a possibly coordinated effort to damage her reputation, which, according to her, began when she started questioning the way the filming process was being handled. Lively claimed that Baldoni and his team attempted to discredit her among staff and in the public sphere by spreading disparaging messages or negative information that, according to the lawsuit, could be interpreted as retaliation for her decision to pursue legal action. Many of her claims reflected broader conversations within Hollywood about workplace culture, where power dynamics between directors, producers, and actors are often scrutinized. At the beginning of 2025, Baldoni issued an extremely aggressive legal response, a $400 million countersuit against Lively, her husband Ryan Reynolds, and several public relations specialists. This countersuit was based on accusations of defamation and alleged destruction of his reputation. Baldoni claimed that Lively's accusations were fabricated or heavily distorted, and that they were initiated with the intent of creating a narrative that would harm him personally, as well as his studio and future professional opportunities. His position argued that Lively's team had allegedly coordinated intense public relations pressure, and that certain stories appearing in the media were the result of intentional leaks. The public communication of this position sparked extensive debate, adding emotional weight to the case and highlighting the growing antagonism between two major figures in the entertainment industry. In June 2025, the countersuit hit a major legal turning point. After reviewing Baldoni's arguments and Lively's response, the judge ruled that Baldoni had not provided sufficient legal grounds for a defamation case. The court emphasized that Lively's harassment reports were legally protected because they related to potentially unlawful conduct in the workplace, and her public statements could not be treated as defamation simply because they were made publicly. The court also recognized that her comments were made in defense of her rights, and therefore could not be considered a harmful attack on his reputation. This was a significant decision that drew a clear line between defamation claims and protected reporting of possible violations. Baldoni was given the opportunity to amend the countersuit and submit a narrower version of the complaint, but he failed to do so by the court-mandated deadline. On October 31st, 2025, the judge declared the countersuit officially closed. This dismissal significantly changed the dynamics of the case. Baldoni lost the ability to prove in court that Lively's claims were false, while Lively's position was strengthened. Her statements were recognized as legally protected. At the same time, Lively's original lawsuit remained active. By the end of 2025, this meant that the only ongoing case related to the conflict was Lively's lawsuit against Baldoni, scheduled to be heard in March 2026. This fact increased public interest, as the legal process was approaching a stage where not just procedural details, but the substance of the events themselves would be examined. The tension surrounding the case in the public sphere was intensified further by media reports about conflicts between Ryan Reynolds and Baldoni. In one widely circulated episode, it was reported that Reynolds confronted Baldoni at a public event over alleged fat-shaming comments about Lively, and that Taylor Swift and Hugh Jackman may have witnessed the incident. Although such details are not part of the official legal proceedings, they amplified media attention and created the impression that the conflict had moved beyond a purely professional dispute and become personal. At the same time, author Colleen Hoover, whose novel served as the basis for the film, publicly expressed that the entire situation seemed awful to her and voiced disappointment that the adaptation process had turned into a scandalous drama. These voices further expanded the scope of public discussion. From the very beginning, this case became more than a typical legal dispute between two well-known individuals. It developed into a broader story about power, control, media influence, and professional boundaries in Hollywood. The nature of the accusations touches on sensitive questions: where artistic creativity ends and boundary breaking begins, how actors' safety on set should be guaranteed, what constitutes an appropriate response to harassment reports, and how to distinguish genuine defense from a public relations counterattack. These issues remain relevant to this day, and the upcoming trial could set a precedent influencing how similar cases unfold in the future.